Hey guys, click on RickLindar.com and of course the house of biceps. Now, as an online coach, I watch people train all the time, every single day. I almost always have clients doing some kind of box squat unless it's some kind of special exception as a lifter. Right now I have a client, Miss Brandy, having some issues with box squats. While she's done a ton of squats in her lifetime, she's never really done a box squat. And after the first couple of weeks of watching her train, well, we have some technical issues which we can address, which will carry over directly to her squat and her deadlift. Now, I can make a video a day about the box squat because there are a million different mistakes that can be made, and there are a lot of different ways that the box squat can be done correctly. There's actually a whole lot of ways it can be done incorrectly too. I've seen most of them. Now, probably the main thing that I want people to understand, especially you, Brandy, is when you are box squatting, remember that your box squat is not your squat. That's why we have you set up training squats twice a week. Box squat in a dynamic effort method fashion early in the week, and we have you doing regular squats, competition squats, later in the week. A lot of people will find that the box squat does not improve their squat, but it does tend to improve their deadlift as well as everything else, especially if they're a strongman. And especially if they're using tons of bands and chains. Well, now, Brandy squats with a stance slightly wider than shoulder width normally. So in general, I tell everyone, whatever your squat stance is, and my squat stance is somewhere around here, if I want to be able to come anywhere close to depth, then you want to take each foot out at least an inch, maybe two, when you're box squatting. So what do you tell a lifter who squats like this? Well, the principle is still the same. We want to stretch, overload, work the hamstrings, the glutes, the back as well. We want to take a little bit of the pressure off the quads. Now, I guarantee you, if you are box squatting with intensity, your quads will still be worked. Probably the biggest my quads have ever been is when I was box squatting at my biggest box squat, doing sets of 5s, 3s, 8s, 9s, even heavy singles. At my strongest, my quads would be fried every time I did heavy and intense box squats. So you're not going to get tiny quads. This will carry over. So I would still like to see you take a wide stance. I want you to take just about the widest stance that you can possibly take without pain in your knees, and to be able to come somewhere close, I don't care if you break, somewhere close to parallel. As you can see, I am high, I am above parallel. I really have no reason to break parallel. With the box squat, I always have people pause on the box, not touch and go. That pause does two things. One, we look at how fast the person explodes up off of the box, which is really, really important. You over there, this is important. It's important to see how fast the lifter explodes up off the box. If I see a lifter taking heavy weights and firing and exploding up off the box, then I know they're ready for a new PR. If I see them with 85% on the box and they're struggling to come off the box with speed, we got to back things down. We got to look at things from a different angle. They're not ready for PRs. Also, the time they spend on the box is roughly the same amount of time it takes them to hit parallel, go below it, and come back up. And obviously this isn't for everyone, doesn't apply to everyone. But right now, she doesn't know what exactly works for her. So we're going to try this. And it doesn't matter that much because she's squatting on another day. So the mistakes we see Brandy doing is squatting with a close stance. You can choose to go with your feet to be straight or at an angle. I have issues hitting depth when I have my feet at an angle. Not that I'm concerned about hitting depth, but lately it's felt more comfortable with me pointing my toes out, and I can still spread the floor in my chucks without any problem. One of the big issues we see with her, I'm going to use the SS Jump Bar, is that the last couple of inches she's falling onto the box, going down and then falling onto the box. That hurt my back right there, and that's not going to build anything. it generally means that you don't have, well, the technique, but you don't have the hamstrings to allow you to sit on the box. When you go back, and I know this doesn't apply to you, Miss Brandy, but I tell clients to go balls to the box, here, not butt to the box, which is here. Not good for your microphone either. If you go butt to the box, I feel a severe pain in my hips, and it's going to put a lot more strain on my lower back. So, Brandy, whatever cue works for you, balls to the box. Now, the only other thing that I really look for, and as sure as Shinola that the camera's rolling, I will not be able to do it right now, is we want the bar path to be very similar as it would be with a regular squat, which should be pretty much straight up and straight down. If we see someone box squatting and the bar goes this path, what's going to happen when you actually try to squat like that? What's going to happen when you put a heavy weight on the bar and you rock way back? I don't mean get to the box and open your hips to rock. I mean you sway way back with a heavy weight. And then what's going to happen if you start leaning forward on the way up? You're going to bite the dust. So for a lot of people, we have the cue to sit back, and that tends to be the bad cue because it makes them rock back and swing the entire bar back as well as forward. So the cue can easily just be knees out. Also going balls to the box might fit that exact cue. So what we want to look for, and I'm sure I'm going to do it wrong right now, is knees out and up. A pretty straight up and down bar path. So Brandy, there's a million things we can work on, but telling you a million different things to work on, it's not going to make life any easier. It's not going to improve your squat that much. So we're just going to give you a couple of things to work on between now and next week. Widen your stance out as much as you can safely. Bring that box height up just a little bit. Give your hamstrings some time to catch up with the rest of your body. We're not worried about squatting super deep. Squat balls to the box, or whatever you want to call it. And let's work on that vertical bar path. So from the House of Biceps, this is Clint Darden. We'll see you next time.